Hello, hope everyone is fine and okay. So we have this job. This is an HP EliteBook X360 1030 G3. I think I once fixed something like this, like a month or a few weeks ago. This laptop is coming from two different computer repair shops, like two different attempts. This is the third attempt on this laptop. What the owner is saying the laptop is not turning on, is not charging, is not doing anything. This is some kind of USB-C. You can see here we have two USB-C charging ports. So that's how this laptop looks like. And USB type C is some kind of different configuration from the normal laptops that we know. Yeah, it's not an easy attempt. So how we can check this is working with 15 volts, 4.3 amps power supply, 15.7. Let's see if we can see anything with the power supply, or maybe we can't do anything with the power supply. Let's see if we can see anything, and which one is the right port. Here is meant to have like the light for charging, so I think the first one, and it's taking 170 milliamps. It's not charging. It's not charging. What if I try to power on the laptop? I'm seeing some flicking on the charging light, and it's doing nothing. Power on. You can see here. Maybe you can see here. It's flashing, and it's not doing anything. So that's the problem with this laptop. So there are no screws like usual. Technicians, they are coming with open devices. So let's try to open here. Opened. That's the motherboard, I think. Okay, we have the battery, we have two fans, we have power supplies. So the way how this USB type C motherboards are working, we have like the input MOSFETs, and after the input MOSFETs we have a unique power supply, which is being managed by a PD controller IC chip, and that chip is doing a lot of things. Is managing the charging of the battery, is managing the input charging current, is also communicating with the EC. You know, the startup chip is also communicating with the processor here under the heatsink, and that PD controller is also acting as the step down controller, because the input voltage, if it's 19, I found on some motherboards that power supply, which is generating the main power rail, will be stepped down to 8, 9 volts, 10, 12 volts, depending with the laptop. So what I will do, I'll plug in the USB power meter here. You can see the light here, the flashing light. It's flashing few seconds and goes off. Let's check some voltages. Let's check some voltages here. Obviously, this is a dead laptop. What do we have here? We have 15 volts. Okay. We have MOSFETs here, like 4 MOSFETs. 2 in parallel mode and another 2 in parallel mode. The first 2 in parallel mode, they are in serial mode with the second 2 MOSFETs, which are also in parallel mode. I don't know if you can understand the language I'm trying to say. They use like 4 MOSFETs, 2 which are acting as the first MOSFET and 2 which are acting as the second MOSFET. If I do remember, that is the 15 volts on the output. We have 15.6 on the current sensor. We have 15 volts. You see, this voltage on the current sensor, like I said, this is not the main 19 volts. This is not the main 15 volts power line. So here, what do you have? We have the charging. You have the battery connector here. I think we can check the battery voltage just to be sure. What kind of voltage do you have on this battery? Zero point 0.4. Okay. This battery is just 0.45 volts. That's not good. That's not good. I think that is the starting point. Let's try to charge the battery. We're going to disconnect the charger here. Let's see if this battery is charging. Lower the current. Let's lower the current here. And the battery is charging. You see? So let's charge the battery. After charging the battery, we'll see if that is the reason why we have flashing light when we plug in the charging, the power supply. Maybe it's because of a highly discharged battery. Maybe. You can see on the power supply 8.9 volts and it's taking 3.6 amps. The battery is charging. I would love to check step by step if this battery is gaining some power. 5.76. Yes, it is. Let's charge again. Let's charge again. So here we do have the battery connector, and next we have this power supply coil, 4 MOSFETs, and I can't see the driver. This is the power supply which is responsible for generating the main power rail voltage. I think that's the one. This is the power supply. We'll check. We check just to make sure if that's the one, but I think that's the one which is responsible for generating the main power rail, and is being managed by a driver. Can be TPS. I found the TPS. I found the intercell, ISL, different kind of chips, which are speaking with the USB Type C charger, speaking with the processor, also communicating with the startup chip. And I can't see the startup chip here. Maybe it's just a small chip, but this is some kind of new model of motherboards. Okay, now we have 7 volts. Okay, cool. Plug in the charger. It's taking 250. Let's go to 15 volts. It's still taking 170 milliamps. What if you try to power on the laptop? No, it's not doing anything. It's just dead. Huh? Do you think we can fix this? Do you think are we able to fix this? Pressing the power on button, it's just flashing. Can you see the flashing orange light on the charging port? And yeah, this coil is getting very hot. I think we need to go under microscope. Let's check out the motherboard. I think we need to go under microscope and check everything. What's really going on here? So that's the motherboard, that's the battery. Novatone, probably that's the startup chip. Let's go on a microscope and check few things. Let's check few things on microscope. Let's see. So what do you have here? What do you have here? So let's inspect the motherboard. That's the motherboard. I can see some flags here. This looks like some flags. Someone once worked here. You see these flags? I don't know what they're trying to do here. This is the flags, you see? Let's just try to identify things here. So we have the BIOS chip here. We have another BIOS chip here. We have another BIOS chip here, but that's not important. We have those MOSFETs. The MOSFETs which I was talking about. You see those MOSFETs? Those MOSFETs, this MOSFET, let's check this MOSFET for short. This one good, this one good, this one is good, and this one is going here, is going here. So this black thing, that's the current sensor. You can't see it properly, but that black thing, that's the current sensor. This one, that's the current sensor. And after that, we do have the battery connector here. And next to the battery connector, we have this coil with 4 MOSFETs, 2 this side, 2 this side. That is the power supply which I was talking about. And what this power supply is doing is stepping down 15 volts to whatever on the output. I don't know. We'll check about that. It's also managing the input voltage and the current. It's also communicating with the processor, communicating with the Novaton E, that E.C chip which we have seen. It's also managing to charge the battery. It's also acting as the charging circuit. So where's the driver for this power supply? Let's see here. What chip do we have here? We have a chip here. Oh. We have a chip here. We have that chip, which looks like an intercell chip. Oh. What is written on this chip? ISL 9538. ISL 9538. I think that's the one. That's the one. Huh? 9538H. I think that's the one. What I want to check about this chip, I want to check this capacitor is shorted. This is good. This is shorted. This is shorted. Why? Why do we have 2 shorted capacitor? Well, let's plug in the charger. And maybe charger plugged. And I just feel the fan is spinning. But the chip is getting very hot. Huh? The problem, this is an intercell chip. That's the PD controller. What I want to do, I want to come with power supply, very low current, and see what is taking current on this logo, on this chip. Or we can check some voltages around this chip. Let's check few voltages here. Let's go back, starting from those MOSFETs. Yeah, the fan is spinning, but I don't think that will give us results. I think something is wrong with this chip. Huh? We do have 20 volts here. 19.5. 19.5. Let's go to that power supply. Here. What voltage do we have here? We have 19.5 volts on the output of this power supply. 8.7. $7.9. The output is fluctuating. Now we have 7.9. Now we have 8.7. If I'm to check on any power supply, here, 7.9. So the output is fluctuating. Huh? The output is fluctuating. So I think our problem is from this power supply. I think the problem is from this power supply. Why do we have a fluctuating MOSFETs? Why the output is not stable? Huh? And on top of that, we have like two capacitors which are reading a short. This one is shorted and this one is shorted. So let's use some alcohol. Let's use some alcohol, but I'm sure something is wrong with our PT controller. Let's plug the charger. Charger plugged. I'm assessing the behavior of the alcohol on top of the chip. Yeah, the chip is getting dry. Can you see the chip is getting dry? Check what's going on top of the chip. Huh? Okay. With the power supply, what is taking that current? Let's lower the current to 1 point something. And let's lower the voltage because we don't know what those capacitors to around 1 volt. We don't want to push too much power into this chip. It's taking 0, 0, 0, 0. I can't see anything, but it's easy to take out the chip and see if those capacitors, they are meant to work like that. It's easy to take out the chip. So let's take down the chip. Yeah, that's an intercell IC. I think I have similar board like this. Let's take out this chip. The chip is out. That's an intercell. Intercell 9535H. Okay. The chip is out. Let's check for those capacitors again. This one is not shorted anymore. And this one is not shorted anymore. So the chip is dead. The chip is dead. I knew it. So we need this kind of chip. Let me see again. It's intercell, that's ISL 9538H. Intercell 9538H. So let me look for the chip and we'll come back for replacement. I found something from Board for Space. I found something. I found something. Same chip. Okay. And the one which took out. So let's try to put back that chip. Let's try to replace the chip. Chip position is very important. Okay. Our chip is now in place. Cooling the chip. Let's cool the chip. Let's cool the chip. Let's cool the chip. So now we have this capacitor is not shorted. That's a good sign. And this one is not shorted again. That's a good sign. So what is left? What is left is to test. So let's start to put all together and then we can test. Before we put all together, I want to see if the charging light is no longer flashing. That's a good sign. Let's plug the charger. Yeah, the chip is a little bit warm. Plug in the charger. You can see the orange light. You see that orange light here? The orange light is flashing. But now it's flashing, giving white line. Probably the board is on. Yeah, the processor is getting warm. Yeah, the processor is getting warm. Probably the motherboard is on. So I will say, let me put all together and we will come back for testing. So let's put everything in place here so that we can test. Do you think we have a working laptop? Do you think we have a working laptop? All this is supposed to be like this. The laptop has two main connections, but we have to take everything back the way we took out. The same way we took out this motherboard, we have to take everything back in place. So let me connect all the connectors and then we test. Let's see. We do have this connector for the speaker. Well, this LVDS, that's the LVDS for this screen ribbon cable. Just to make sure that everything is in place. The battery. Now, I think we can plug in the charger. Yeah, it's not connected on the power supply. I'm testing with the customer's charger. And we have orange light. And after connecting, you can see the light. Let's try to power on the laptop. Fans, they are just started spinning. Keyboard. Let's wait. And the HP log. It's working. It's working. Enter. It's off. We took out the battery was taken out, so it's trying to reload the settings. I can see the keyboard backlight and the HP log. So that was a dead intercell. You see this chip? It's good to know, because I've seen so many comments on the channel. HP is loading Windows and the laptop is on. So I've seen so many comments on the channel. Why can't you do videos on the laptops which are working with the USB-C type charger? The issue is, it's about country. Here in Zimbabwe, the majority, 80% of people, they are still using old laptops, except the few. So it's very hard to get such kind of jobs. So I'm getting such kind of jobs, but not as many as old devices. So if we have this laptop, now the coil is not getting hot anymore. What I want to check the main voltage which is being generated by this power supply. Just for the sake of the future, just to check voltage is on the coil. .5. If I am to check on any power supply, we must get that voltage. 3.3 here, 1 volt. What about here? 8.47. What about here? We have another power supply. 8.47. That's the main power rail. That the main power rail is working with 8.47. Why? Because this power supply is stepping down the input voltage. If you check voltage on this ceramic capacitor, it's 19.73 from the charger. 19.73 from the charger, which is being stepped down by this switching power supply. And also what this chip is doing is managing the input current here. It's also communicating with the processor. And you remember the Novaton IC on the other side of the motherboard is being communicating also with the PD controller. So in our case, that was I can't say a shorted PD controller, partially shorted PD controller. And now I'm sure we still have a working laptop. The laptop is on. The laptop is on. What about charging? 49% plugged in charging. So I will say like, subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell for future updates, and see you on the next one. Bye.